Good morning, everyone. Let me begin this speech by asking you, when was the last time you took a rest day without feeling guilty? I'm not talking about resting because you were sick. I'm not talking about resting because you had finished everything you had to. I'm talking about resting just because you felt you needed to. For most of the teenagers, students, and athletes nowadays, the answer to this question is almost never. You see, modern world constantly tells us to do more, be more, and achieve more. If we aren't working, we should be studying. If we aren't studying, we should be working. If we aren't studying or working, we should be the best at something else, maybe a sport or I don't know, you name it. But if we're resting, we're wasting time. This way of thinking has a name. It's called toxic productivity. And let me tell you why I decided to talk about this concept. You see, since I was very little, my parents, and I guess most of our parents here, have always encouraged me towards making an effort at school and giving my best every time. At school, I consider I've always been someone who's good, and doing an effort here also makes me happy. However, let's be honest. You don't have to be brilliant to get a 10 at almost everything in elementary school. So since I was very little, I became sort of addicted to the feeling of having perfect or almost perfect report cards at school. But time has gone by and things have got harder as well. Add to this the fact that I also started training and I also started taking lots of care of my diet, which are aspects where I become just as disciplined as I've always been at school. I was able to handle this lifestyle for many years pretty well until around a year ago, when I started noticing that a Saturday without spending the entire morning pedaling on my bike made me feel like I was weak or made me feel that I was lazy. Eating junk food every now and then made me feel like I was throwing all my effort to the trash. Maybe getting a grade below a 9 or a 10 at school made me feel like I was becoming dumb or that I must have pushed harder, maybe. At times, I thought that I was actually failing to myself. And it took a while for me to realize that it wasn't that I wasn't pushing hard enough, but that I never took time to stop and think for myself and do things what I liked. This is called burnout. But burnout isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of too much pressure for too long. Toxic productivity teaches us a very dangerous lie, that rest must be earned. But rest isn't a reward. It's a biological need. When we rest, our cells regenerate, our muscles recover, our memory organizes, our emotions regulate, and this list could keep going forever just to convey how important rest is for us. But we live in a world that celebrates exhaustion. And according to the World Health Organization, stress-related mental health problems have increased significantly in the last decade. According to the American Psychological Association, through a survey made in 2023, it was found that over 45% of teenagers report feeling constant stress, and most of it related to school performance and future life expectancy. With this, we can see that toxic productivity doesn't just harm individuals. It has shaped a generation that is anxious, that is stressed, and that is afraid of staying behind. Because even when we want to take a break, our phone shows up these people having their perfect lifestyles, which, by the way, most of them are fake, and we start comparing ourselves to them and thinking we aren't as good as others. But growing up shouldn't feel like surviving. To teachers and parents, please remember that being busy all the time doesn't result in excellence. It results in burnout. To students and athletes, please remember that your worth doesn't depend on how much things you achieve or how good you are at the sport you practice. You should better focus on doing things that actually make you feel good and make you feel better as a person. And for everyone here, let's stop glorifying exhaustion, because resting is okay and being human is not a weakness. Thank you.